Last time I showed MS Basic running on the Famicom. So now that we've got that running, let's do some more Apple I software. This time with Blackjack for Apple Basic for the Apple I. So I'm using this little website here to get hold of the Blackjack code. It's available sort of in serial format with or without Basic. But because I'm not actually using an Apple I and I'm not using Apple Basic, I kind of need to get the raw code itself. So we can use this emulator here, Apple I.js. So I've got that running here, and we can have a look at the Apple I code. This takes a long time to print out. It's very slow. Okay, now that it's done, you can see it is quite long. I've already made a copy of it, but it won't run directly in MS Basic. So I'm going to show you the changes that I had to make it compatible with MS Basic. Let's get rid of the browser and let's bring up the code itself now. Now, the student view will notice that there's actually a lot more lines now. Well, one of the reasons for that, we'll go over first, is these multi-statement lines. In Basic, you can put more than one statement on a single line by separating them with a colon. Now the problem is that with these if statements here. In Apple I Basic, if you have an if statement, then if it is false, it will carry on to the next statement, right? So if you have a second statement over here, print. On Apple Basic, if this B, if B is greater than 0, right? If B, it will jump to 35. If it's not B, it will run this statement here and then go to the next line. But in MS Basic, if this is false, it will go straight away to the next line. Right, it will not run this statement here. And in the original code, there were many cases of this, such as this one here. So I had to make, I think originally, these three were on the same line. So I had to break up these lines. And there's many cases where we've got if statements, like this one here, that I've had to make a 46, 47, 48, where I've had to break them up so that they will actually run correctly on MS Basic. However, this one here, we have an if on the final statement, that works just fine, right? You just can't have any statements after an if statement, because they will get missed. Some other things I had to change were the representation of not. In the Apple Basic it was a hash, but these use the less than greater than brackets to represent a not. And what else? These way here of doing substrings is different on MS Basic. These ones here are selecting a character inside, so basically it's a substring, right? So in the middle, get a substring in the middle of value A at position E and get one character, right? So that's how you get your ace 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Out of those, and then out of B. Right, that had to be changed. A lot of these if statements here, these all had to be pushed onto different lines. The way we do random numbers is a little bit different in MS Basic, and I had to wrap this inside an int as well. Those ones there, yep. Now there's one other special thing down here. This one here. We'll use this one here as an example. In this statement, we have this conditional here, c equal to 1. So when c is equal to 1, that will evaluate to true, and otherwise it will evaluate to false. Now the integer value of false is 0, so basically d plus c minus 0. But on the Apple one, on the Apple Basic, true evaluates to 1, and on MS Basic, true evaluates to -1. So in the Apple Soft, we have plus c equal to 0. Sorry. On the Apple Soft version, we have plus c is equal to 1. And here I had to change that to minus c is equal to 1 to get that positive shift. So that's a weird thing that MS Basic and Apple Basic have different, the evaluations of true and false. It's interesting, I guess you say it's interesting that Apple seems to have won this fight, because we still use 1 to represent true and not -1. But that's alright. Okay, so now that we've seen this and basically all the code changes, I'm going to input this into MS Basic on the Famicom. Right, so right now, let's have a look. You can see I've got nothing there. Let's type this all out, and let's do it fast. Okay, after all of that typing and some debugging, we're now ready to demonstrate Apple Blackjack on MS Basic on the Famicom. So we'll run our program, enter a name. I'll be bitcores, of course, and enter a number to bet. Let's bet $100. It has a 10 of clubs. I have a 6 of spades and a jack of spades. A jack of clubs. I'm not going to hit. And I lost, of course. Let's go another 100. And we'll demonstrate I have to hit a valid key. I've got 9. Let's go hit jack there. Okay, we're not going to hit this one. I win. He busts. Hit that. Busted. So you go over your limit, get no on there. No hits on that. He busts. I win. So yep, that's Blackjack working. It seems to work reasonably well. Except for one thing. Here, if I enter the wrong type of text, right? Because this expects me to enter a number for the bet. So if I enter characters, enter like letters, it gives me a redo from start. But what happens if I enter nothing? It seems to have exited the program, right? It has just exited. It's exited Blackjack. And I don't think that's what's supposed to happen. Right? Usually, to actually get out of the Blackjack, you'd enter a 0 bet, which is when it will stop and exit out. But there seems to be, in MS Basic, a bug with input. So that if you don't enter anything when it's expecting input, it will exit out of the program. And so we'll have a look at this bug next time. So I hope to see you then.